webinar brought to you by Principal Investigators Association. Today's program is entitled Revising and Resubmitting Rejected NIH Proposals, What You Should Know Before You Try Again. This is a 60-minute program. It is my pleasure to introduce your speaker for today, Dr. Marjorie Pahowski. Dr. Pahowski, currently Director of Research Support in the College of Engineering and Applied Science at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, has over 25 years of experience in faculty grant development, research administration, and technical writing at 3 Midwest urban universities. These previous positions included Grant Information Specialist at Marquette University and Director of Sponsored Programs and Research at DePaul University. Widely recognized for her expertise in grant development, technical writing, and research administration, she has made over 80 invited presentations at regional, national, and international meetings. She is a member of the National Council of University Research Administrators and is a past president of the International Society of Research Administrators, which also granted her its Excellence Award. Dr. Pahowski's technical writing clients include over 50 corporations, not-for-profit organizations, faith-based organizations, colleges and universities, and government agencies. As an independent grant writing consultant, she has written more than $13 million in successful grants for these organizations. She has also served as a grant reviewer for the U.S. Department of Education and the National Institute on Aging. In addition to her work in grant development, Dr. Pahowski has taught undergraduate and graduate grant writing and technical communication courses at 4 colleges: University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Marquette University, DePaul University, and Mount Mary College. Dr. Pahowski's degrees include a BA and MA in English from Marquette University and a PhD in English from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And now let's get started. Welcome, Dr. Marjorie Pahowski.
Thank you and good afternoon to all of you. So today we're going to talk about some ways in which you can improve your resubmission of NIH proposals and perhaps the submission as well. What we'll look at over the course of this hour is how do you interpret agency reviews? What are some of the multiple and complex reasons for proposal rejections, because it's often more than one reason? Is it feasible to think about resubmitting? What is your likelihood of future success? And then I will give you some specific strategies for revising proposals based on the reasons for rejection. We'll start with some facts of life about rejections. Everyone gets rejected. Most proposals, in fact, are rejected the first time, sometimes multiple times, 75 to 90%, depending on the agency, the program, the funding cycle, and very few first applications do get funded. However, NIH is probably the champion agency in demonstrating that resubmissions do succeed. The most recent report I could find from 2009 mentioned that 35% of second applications do get funded. This was across the institute, all institutes. Different institutes have different funding levels. We would like to think that rejections are a learning opportunity, and we also do believe in academia that reviewers are mostly accurate and objective. There will be times when there's an unfair reviewer, but most of the time the peer review system works very, very well. And the other component of revising and resubmitting is that grant success indeed is a lifelong process. Sometimes it takes a couple years to succeed, but these strategies do work. Next slide. There is a very classic study of NIH proposals that has given me the basis for identifying the problems, but this is also based on my experience. This classic study took 605 rejected NIH proposals, grouped them into 4 main categories. And we'll talk about some of these categories as we go along. but the nature of the problem itself accounted for over half of the reasons why proposals were rejected. The approach, 73%, and that's huge. That's in your control, how you set up and design a methodology. The investigator, and we'll talk about some ways in which the investigator may have caused the rejection and what we can do about it, and then a whole set of other reasons. The institution in which you work, budget requests, inadequate personnel, lack of PI time, unconvincing need, and directions not followed, no reason for that to happen, a sloppy presentation, missed deadline, missing proposal components. With grants.gov, some of these factors are simply not there anymore because you're not allowed to have missing components. Missed deadline won't happen because you cannot apply once the deadline has passed. So we'll take a look at some of these other reasons. So to revise and resubmit, it's important to remember how the NIH review process works. Your advantage is that NIH has published and established review groups. You look up and know the people who are going to review you. You get a sense of their background, you get a sense of their experience, and unless it's a special one-time review group, you will get the same reviewers another time. There may be some turnover, but in effect, the same people will get to see how you improved and made a difference. Another important point is that the review process is managed by permanent NIH staff. And so these are the persons who select or who work with the reviewers, and the review division is separate from the funding division. So it's a very clean process. Usually, only 3 to 5 individuals are going to read your proposal in any kind of detail. And that's an important point, too, because one person is going to be the lead discussant, and the whole review group will discuss the proposal. That means that your abstract and early components of the proposal are very, very important in setting a tone. Next slide. As of January 2010, there was a change in the review process. You used to receive scores that were in the hundreds. And with the new review process, the total possible score worked into 25, along with a percentile score and a relevance score, and then what's most important for this presentation, only one resubmission. You still get the additional space to explain what you did, and most of the same panel will re-review. So when we talk about ways in which you can improve your resubmission, we will be looking at some of the comments and reasons for rejection that we've previously looked at. So in deciding whether or not to revise, let's take a look at the process to use. The first step would be to analyze the reviews. I know that the first response is anger, rejection, feeling awful that all of your work went unrecognized. But what you need to do is go through the reviews a couple times, identifying the types of problems that are brought forth, looking for the consistency of comments, and looking for whatever strengths may counterbalance the weaknesses. Keep in mind that you don't need to address every single weakness if, in your judgment, it's not a valid weakness. It would be really useful at this stage about deciding whether to revise to have other people read the reviews. This is often what I do for our faculty members. I'll sit down with them, read through the reviews, and try to make some determination, some sort of rank order about what was the most important or the most important problems, and then figure out how to address these. Another component to think about in